Hello lovers and friends, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Ebun Osayemi. In today's video, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be giving y'all an update on my last video that came out last year. Actually, I titled it my postgraduate depression story. So a year later, I wanted to give you guys an update and also talk about some other things too regarding mental health, therapy, and whatnot. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. Is an update on my mental state, my postgraduate depression video, and a year ago from when I first did it to how I'm doing now, going on 2 years postgraduate. I wanted this video to be very honest and very open, so I was a little hesitant doing this video, just like I was the last video and even putting that video out. So even with this one, I'm a little bit like, I don't know how this is going to be taken, but I feel like you guys deserve an update, and I deserve to update myself too and just look at how far I've come from last year to this year, because honestly speaking, February of last year is completely different to what February of this year looks like. February of last year was still, not in the best mental state at all. So we're going to also be doing our makeup in this video. Well, I'm gonna be doing my makeup in this video. Y'all can go ahead and grab a popcorn and some wine or water and sit along through this journey with me, or through this conversation with me. Yeah, so February of this year is definitely different from February of last year. February of last year was going on to, I believe, 6 months postgraduate, and I couldn't find a job anywhere, and it was starting to get really frustrating. I've realized, oh my god, I'm gonna just sit here and talk and not even do my makeup. But okay, so I did my primer. We're gonna put on foundation. Even backpedaling is, I realized my depression really didn't even kick in until I believe 2017. Was when I just didn't feel well in my spirit, and I didn't feel well physically. It was a struggle for me to do the basic thing. It was a struggle for me to go to classes, like get out of bed was just really difficult. And if you know me, I'm a morning person. I like to do this thing where, or I like to call it, I like to wake up before the world wakes up. Waking up super early in the morning, and it's just you and the world and God, and there's absolutely no noise of any other human beings around you. I loved doing that. So when I realized that I wasn't even doing that anymore, I didn't know what it was. So I went to therapy. I've been in therapy now on and off for about 4 years now. I've been in therapy on and off. Oh my god, I'm really going to talk without really doing my makeup. And really, let me put my phone in do not disturb, because I really want to have this interaction with y'all. So I went to therapy because I didn't know what to do. And when I went to therapy, I wasn't clinically diagnosed, but just with talking things through with my therapist, I came to the conclusion that depression is a thing, and that was what I was going through. But I realized what my triggers were and what leads me into that deep hole of where sometimes it's really hard for me to come out of. So being a I'm functioning depressed person then was, you get so good at it. And with me, ever since I was a little kid, like my nickname in my family is Ebun Smiley, and it's because I've always been a happy-go-lucky little girl. I've always been the one to come into room and light it up with laughter, put smiles on everyone's faces, and that worked for me because then, of course, like you're younger, that's just how I was. But then it's like when the happy-go-lucky girl hits the wall, and I'm like really trying to break through this wall, and there's nowhere else to go. Who helps the happy-go-lucky kid when deep inside that's not really how she feels anymore? Oh my god, I don't want to cry in this video. I am not going to cry in this video because we're gangsters, okay? That was very hard for me, and that was because I didn't want it to seem like something was wrong with me, which absolutely, listen, if you're watching this video and if you're dealing with mental health, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Absolutely nothing wrong with you. Get into therapy, get into self-care, find things that bring you joy and happiness. And I've always said that human beings don't do it for me, and I will get into that later on in the video. Now I will say I am incredibly better than I was last year. Like, when I tell you that I stopped moving by just my own natural physical eyes and more by faith and God, I'm in an absolute different space in my life. I think also what had to do with this depression was coming into my 20s and not really realizing what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be, who Ebun is, you know, because like also being the oldest female in a Nigerian household, you take care of everybody. You take care of everybody. You don't really get to take care of yourself. So I'm taking care of 5 other people in my family, and I never took care of Ebun. So where I'm at today is just really completely different from where I was a year ago, like 2 years ago, you know. Just really working on myself, again, being under construction. Right now, we're way past the foundation. The foundation is very solid, very, very good. Like, there's no tornado, hurricane, or tsunami, nothing that can break this foundation, okay? Because it's built with the Holy Ghost in it. Taking my mental health very seriously, setting boundaries has been very helpful, and just realizing the toxic traits that maybe, you know, I have, the people around me have, and being able to apologize also, you know, that's been very, very key into helping me be the person that I am today, is saying my wrongs and, you know, apologizing for them and trying to do better. If my sister watches this video, she'll probably be like, psych, you're lying. But no, honestly, and really trying to be a better human being, just for myself, but because it's just like, that's just what you're called for to do on this earth, is be a good human being to yourself and to your neighbor. United States in the Bible. And also, speaking of the Bible, is just having God in my life. God has been, you know, my relationship with God has been up and down, definitely. In my last video, I talked about how I was born Muslim, but my mom is Christian, my dad is Muslim, you know, but I have a Muslim name and a Christian name. So it was always that conflict of, you know, go to church, go to mosque. Like, neither of my parents have ever said, oh no, you're not gonna study this person's religion. They've always been very supportive of it, and they've never disrespected each other's religion. But me figuring out what I wanted to do, because that can be very overwhelming for a kid, you know, going to church and also going to mosque, going to Ile and, you know, going to Sunday school. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? And then practicing both and reading the Quran and the Bible and realizing that they both say the exact same thing. So molding that together into one, and then choosing that to be my religion in a sense. My relationship with God is, I've also gotten back into my 4 a.m. 5 a.m. wake-up calls with God. Even though I'm back in my mom's house, and even though I really can't go outside because Chicago has been snowing since like the past 2 weeks, and I hate it here. It really hasn't stopped snowing. Like, at this point, there's nowhere else to put the snow. Yeah, now, you know, I wake up very early in the morning, do my little devotion or my Bible study with God, and just have God's presence speak to me and his energy, and just feel him all around me. So what has been helping is journaling. So I wrote this down in my journal right here, this bigger journal that I have over here. And it says celebrate every day, which is very important. So in this journal, I wrote down James 1:2-4, and I was going through like the verses that I've highlighted in my Bible app, and this is one of them that really speak very highly to, you know, this video. James 1:2-4, it says, consider it pure joy when you face trials and tribulations, for the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And that quote alone, even with how little the sentence is, carries so much weight of, you know, consider it joy when you face trials and tribulations. You know, the testing of your faith produces perseverance. It produces tenacity. What you're going through is for a reason and also a season. Always be thankful of whatever God is putting you through, because it's for a reason. Like, God doesn't want to see his kids suffer. I feel like sometimes as Africans, we get stuck into the mindset of God will do it, God will do it, God will do it, which is absolutely true. Yes, God will do it, but what are you doing to meet God halfway? And sometimes I've fallen into that same thoughts and the same thinking. But, you know, my brother was actually the one that realized this, and he said it one day, and I was just like, damn, like, yo, you're right, like, you're 100% right. In terms of, like, as Africans, we love to say God will do it, God will do it, God will do it. And again, 100% true, he will do it. But if you're not also putting in the work for God to do it, then honey, if it falls on deaf ears. And that's just how I see my relationship with God is, you know, if I've prayed about it, let me not worry about it, but also let me do the work to meet God halfway, to do whatever I'm praying to him for. So even if that's my depression, it's doing the work, as in going to therapy and figuring out exactly what causes this. How can I help myself? You know, what does my environment look like? What does my eating habit look like? What are my thoughts? You know, what are the things that triggers me? So writing it all down and talking to a professional is a way that I meet God halfway in this, because honestly, I can't do it by myself. I can't do this thing called life by myself. To me, it's been amazing to see where my life is now, and you know what I'm working towards for the future. And you know, just my relationship with God has just been so beautiful. And you know, the older I get, the more I realize that I need God in my life. It's been amazing for us in terms of, like, you know, everyone went through one of their worst years ever in 2020. And, you know, to me, I've just always been thankful of, even though 2020 was ridiculously crazy with the amount of deaths that happened, just the craziness that 2020 had, I've just always given thanks to God of, oh my goodness, Jesus, like, I still have a roof over my head. Like, I still have food to eat. I still wake up every single day and I'm alive. You know, I go out and I'm able to come back to my house. My mom goes to work, my dad goes to work, my siblings go to work or school, and they're able to come back into the house. Like, that is amazing. Like, I can't take that for granted ever, because not a lot of people get that. My dad has always said, someone went to sleep last night and they didn't wake up this morning, so always give thanks. And that has always stayed behind in my head. So even when I wake up every morning, the first thing I do is I say, thank you, Jesus, because I went to sleep last night and I woke up the next morning. Even unto how I always say, people don't do it for me, it's in a sense of God does it for me. I find myself that even when I'm in the presence of people, no matter what the people are, it's okay, you know, I'm able to have fun, I'm able to, you know, be in the moment, stay in the moment, but it's a different feeling of just God doing it for me. Okay, so I simply realized there is absolutely no way for me to do my makeup and also talk about this kind of topic with you guys. So I just went ahead and I finished up my entire makeup, and now we can actually get into this discussion and finish up this discussion. Actually, going back into why I always say human beings don't do it for me is in the sense of Gardens into Grave, the song by Elevation Worship. If you haven't listened to that song, I highly recommend that song to you. It's a really good worship song. So one of the lyrics, it says, man's empty praises and treasures that fade are never enough. Humans don't do it for me, or people don't do it for me, they don't fill me up. So in terms of also working through myself, being under construction, you know, going into therapy, but in my relationship with God even more is realizing that love and God is what fills me up, and that is what makes me happy, and that's what makes me joy in a sense. And I'm not saying that, you know, things are perfect in my life. They're absolutely not. Like, no one has a perfect life. You know, there are still some things that, you know, I could definitely work on and would rather not have in my life. And I actually wrote this down also, meaning that in the past couple of years, I've always felt extremely heavy. I've always felt heavy physically, in my spirit, emotionally, you know, mentally also. So trying to figure out, well, why do I keep constantly feeling heavy? The more older I get, it just kept getting heavier and heavier, and trying to figure out, well, what exactly is the reason why? Really just realizing this month in February is that, wow, like, this is the first time in a brand new year where I feel lighter. I feel the lightest I've ever felt. Again, in terms of mentally, emotionally, I don't feel heavy at all. I feel lighter. And I'm just gonna say that's because of God's love, and that's because of the good love that I have around me. That fills me up. It makes me full. The people that I have around me, my relationship with God, where I am right now. Even I have my good days and my bad days, but either way, even in my bad days, I still feel full and I still feel loved, because you know, God's love is forever. There's no matter where I'm at, no matter where I hide, you know, from God, God will always find me. His love will always find me. You know, that's just, I don't even know how to explain it, but that's just what I felt this year. And literally January 1st or 2nd, at least the first month of January, ever since I could remember, I think going back into when I turned 18, I've just always been a bad start of the year for me. And this year it absolutely wasn't. And you know, I was just in awe of God's work and God's divine love for me, and just understanding that the good times don't last, but also the bad times don't last. You know, there's a season for everything, but it's also learning the balance between both of, okay, good times don't last, bad times don't last, but where can I meet in the middle, where it's like, you know, middle, balanced out. And that's definitely something I'm working on. And just being 100% open and honest in this video. I think this is the last time y'all will ever see me this vulnerable, honestly. I just had to give an update on this and where I'm at and my relationship with God, and how I'm dealing with, you know, postgraduate depression, if you want to say, and just how amazing God has been in my life. And I think it would be highly unfair of me if, you know, I don't give a testimony of God's work in my life. And also just not giving a testimony of when the good times hit, but also, as you can tell from the last video I posted, giving a testimony of what the bad times look like. In that video, I've never watched that video again since I've put it up, because I look at that girl in that video and sometimes I get sad for her, as that was literally almost a year ago, was what that girl was, compared to the girl that I am now. A lot more confident, you know, a lot more secure in myself, a lot more assured in the things that I want to do and in the direction that God is leading me to. Realizing my purpose and standing firm in it with God right beside me. Don't want this video to be too long, but I just really wanted to get on here and just show y'all, not show, but give a testimony of just how amazing God has been in my life. I need to be the best human I can possibly be, even with whatever I'm going through, and, you know, living it up to God. And my therapist, you know, like having a therapist is amazing, because I can just go for an hour and just dump everything on her table, and then she takes it. And I'm pretty sure my therapist has a therapist of her own, because sometimes, like, she even gets stuck on what to do with me and how to help me. And I think that's the beautiful thing about being a human being, or at least for myself, is we're such complex people. You know, we're just not one straight kind of like line that leads to us. We're all multifaceted and have so many different sides and so many different things to us that, you know, sometimes can be a good thing, sometimes can be a bad thing, sometimes it's a mixture of both. I hope this video is able to help someone else that is going through it right now, in terms of like, listen, you know, I go through it sometimes, so I'm not saying that I found a cure to depression or, you know, anxiety. But I don't want you to ever feel like something is wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Mental health is so important, and I feel like in the Black communities, it's not discussed a lot. It's not, you know, given to the people a lot. It's seen as, oh, you're in therapy, well, what's wrong with you? Why are you so effed up? And it's like, no, I'm not effed up. I just need help and I just need guidance. And yes, there's only so much I can do to help myself. I need outside professional help as well as God's help. You know, just knowing that God loves me and God's got me. Life isn't easy, but it's easier if you have love in it. It's easier if you have happiness. It's easier if you have joy in it, content in it. So that's what I'm learning now, and maybe there will be a third part to this next year. We'll see. But as of right now, I can happily say the amount of just every fiber within me, you know, that God is working on me, and I'm just amazed at just where God has put me in. And so before I go, I also want to say thank you so much to 100 subscribers. Like, what? That is insane. I have a little village on here now, and that, like, there was a time, I'm gonna be so honest and so blunt, because this is what this video particularly is for. I told people this, you know, my immediate circle, my brother, really, and my siblings. YouTube took me 6 years. It took me 6 years to put out one video, and those who know why it took 6 years. It took me 6 years to put out one video, and you know, I'll put out a video and I'll be gone for like a whole year again. I'll be gone for 9 months, which I was last year. I'm so sorry. Inconsistent works. You know, I've only really been back on YouTube like 3 weeks. Let's be honest, like 3 weeks. I've really kind of only been back on YouTube, and it's just crazy just to see where there was a time where the subscribers on my channel were my family and my friends. You know, like 10 people, you know, and now to have a little village, a little 100 people means the world to me. And it's so beautiful to celebrate, you know, this milestone. I know to some people 100 is like that, you know, that's nothing exciting to them, but to me, and just my journey to YouTube and to this kind of platform, it means the world to me, and I'm so happy. Oh my God, I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. Oh my God, my makeup looks good. I don't want to cry. 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 Okay. Sorry. It absolutely means the world to me that you guys are loving my content and you're subscribing. You don't even know me personally, and you know, you're hitting that subscribe button, and you got me to 100 subscribers. Oh my God, I don't want to cry. I am so sorry. I apologize for crying, but you know, again, to some people 100 subscribers might be nothing to them, but this has absolutely meant the world to me, and I hope that we continue to grow, you know, build this platform a lot more, because again, we're all here for a reason. You'll have a purpose. And oh my God, my makeup is good. Can I please not cry? But the more I talk, the more I'm gonna cry. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You liked it. You liked what I had to say in it. And I hope you watched the entire way through, because I was 100% honest and sincere in this video, and I hope that came across as that, being able to tell my story of what I've been dealing with the last couple of years regarding my mental health. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for opening your heart up, you know, and you know, your fingers to subscribing to me. I absolutely appreciate it, and I love you guys so much, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.